Ladies and gentlemen, NIO's top executives just dropped an absolute avalanche of insights in their most recent discussions, the kind that leaves you questioning everything you thought you knew about EVs, charging, and the future of mobility. The sheer volume of game-changing information coming from NIO's leadership, especially the CEO and president, was enough to send shockwaves through the EV community. A lot of skeptics have long claimed that ultra-fast charging would eventually make battery swapping obsolete. But based on what the NIO CEO shared, that assumption seems, frankly, laughably naive. His perspective makes it clear that people underestimating the long-term value of battery swapping haven't fully grasped the bigger picture. Meanwhile, the president of NIO addressed the recent spike in sales, putting current numbers into a more strategic context that deserves serious attention. Let's start by breaking down the recent sales surge and what the NIO president had to say about it. The market has been buzzing with news that NIO's vehicle deliveries are ramping up fast, so much so that some people assumed this was a long-term trend indicating unstoppable growth. But the president offered a much more nuanced explanation. According to him, what we're seeing right now is largely the result of ongoing clearance activities. The recent spike in deliveries is mostly due to discounted vehicles being pushed out. And while that drives volume in the short term, it's not the real story NIO is focused on. The real challenge lies ahead. Can their new generation of vehicles maintain strong sales figures without depending on price cuts or incentive campaigns? That's the critical question being asked internally at NIO. Their product planning and marketing divisions are laser-focused on this challenge. Once the newer models hit the market, vehicles like the updated ET5, ET5T, ES6, and EC6, it'll become clear whether consumer demand holds up without any promotional crutches. Now, let's look at what makes this next generation of NIO vehicles special. For starters, these models are being significantly revamped with a list of upgrades that genuinely respond to consumer feedback. One major upgrade is the inclusion of a new, wider horizontal screen, finally addressing something many customers have been requesting. Some models might even include an additional rear display, similar in design to the Onvo L60, enhancing the in-cabin experience. That's a big win from a usability and design standpoint. Another key addition is the heads-up display HUD, which had been missing in earlier versions of the ET5 and ET5T. That's now being corrected, which will significantly enhance driver convenience and modernize the cockpit feel. The gear shifter is also being repositioned, now located near the steering wheel instead of its previous placement. It may seem like a minor change, but it improves ergonomics and makes the driving experience smoother and more intuitive. Then there's the NX9031 chip, which replaces the need for 4 separate chips previously sourced from NVIDIA. This change is a major cost efficiency play. By shifting to this new, integrated chip solution, NIO stands to save significantly on production costs, an improvement that directly benefits their bottom line, while also potentially enabling better performance and integration. And let's not overlook the exterior upgrades. The design is reportedly taking cues from the luxurious ET9, meaning sharper edges and a more refined, futuristic aesthetic. These vehicles are clearly being engineered not just as refreshes, but as foundational steps into a smarter, more elegant design language. But of course, there's one drawback, a single potential negative that could impact buyer decisions. All of these next-gen models are still built on a 400V electrical platform. That might seem outdated in a world where many luxury and performance EVs are now pushing toward 800V or even 900V systems. The difference in voltage affects charging speed and efficiency, and for some technically minded buyers, sticking with 400V could be a deal breaker. Still, it's the only con in a long list of enhancements. This brings us to one of the most heated debates in the EV world today: battery swapping versus ultra-fast charging. During a recent forum, NIO's CEO was asked about emerging competition that offers 400 km of range after just a 5-minute charge. Critics have suggested that such advances could nullify the need for battery swap infrastructure entirely. The CEO didn't shy away from the challenge. In fact, he tackled it head-on, offering a multi-layered technical breakdown that dismantled the argument against battery swapping with surgical precision. He began by pointing out that charging and swapping aren't mutually exclusive. NIO invests in both. They operate ultra-fast 750 kilowatt charging stations and a vast battery swap network. But if you're trying to argue which provides a superior real-world experience, he makes it clear battery swap wins. One of his most compelling points was around usability in extreme weather. At minus 30 degrees Celsius, dealing with a charging cable in the freezing wind is a miserable experience. He's done it himself in China's harshest environments. In contrast, with a battery swap, you stay in your vehicle. The process is automated, consistent, and doesn't require braving the elements. Then he challenged the claims around ultra-fast charging with a few hard-hitting questions. Can those systems truly deliver a reliable 10-year battery warranty, especially when fast charging degrades battery health faster? Can any brand confidently offer long-term battery insurance when using such high-intensity charging? According to him, unless a competitor can match NIO's ability to manage battery health over a decade or more, battery swapping remains superior. He also criticized how ultra-fast charging is measured. Claims of 400 km in 5 minutes are vague. What's the baseline battery level? What's the environmental context? Unlike battery swap, which has a fixed time usually around 3 minutes, charging speeds can vary wildly depending on numerous factors like grid load, battery temperature, or even whether another car is charging next to you. Another critical consideration he mentioned is infrastructure. To support ultra-fast charging, energy storage systems must be installed next to chargers, because most grids can't deliver the electricity needed in real time. That setup leads to two separate energy losses: first, when storing the electricity, and second, when transferring it to the EV. In contrast, battery swap only incurs one energy transfer loss, making it far more efficient. And who absorbs the cost of these energy inefficiencies? Someone has to. Whether it's the service provider or passed on to the end user, it's an operational cost that undermines the economics of ultra-fast charging. He also spoke about how swap stations act like decentralized energy servers, storing massive amounts of power and supporting grid stability. Just like data centers revolutionized cloud computing, battery swap stations could play a similar role in managing national energy needs. That's a long-term infrastructure benefit no charging solution currently matches. Beyond efficiency, he argued battery swapping enables a circular battery ecosystem, giving automakers full control over the battery's life cycle, enabling recycling, upgrading, and maintaining a consistent standard across vehicles. In summary, the CEO laid out 3 fundamental challenges that ultra-fast charging must overcome if it ever hopes to compete with battery swap. Number 1. Speed. It simply doesn't match swap in real-world performance under all conditions. Number 2. Battery health and warranty. Can ultra-fast charging maintain long-term battery integrity? Number 3. Energy efficiency and infrastructure. Who bears the cost of added energy losses? He's been pondering these issues since 2012 and emphasized that none of these questions are new. They've been core to NIO's philosophy from the start. And unless competitors solve these problems convincingly, battery swapping isn't just viable, it's essential. So what does all this mean for the future of NIO and EV adoption more broadly? First, NIO isn't blindly chasing volume. They're playing the long game. The current spike in deliveries may be impressive, but their real metric for success will be sustaining those figures with new vehicles at regular pricing. That's what they're focused on. Second, they're building an ecosystem, one where vehicle hardware, battery infrastructure, software integration, and national energy goals all work together. Battery swapping isn't just a gimmick, it's an energy strategy. Finally, it shows just how much thought has gone into every decision they've made. Whether it's the chip architecture in their new models, the charging versus swapping debate, or how to ensure sustainability at scale. NIO is not improvising. They're executing a decade-long plan rooted in engineering logic and long-term user value. So, if you still believe fast charging alone can eliminate the need for battery swaps, you're missing half the picture. Battery swap is not only positioning itself as the foundation of a new energy infrastructure model. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more stock predictions and market insights. Remember to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Happy investing, and see you in the next video.